Hello everyone, tonight we are standing in front of something that should be empty, should be still, should be wood, but it hums and it knows names you never said aloud. You are here in the hallway with the soft red light bulb flickering behind you and the floor cool beneath your feet. The wardrobe is closed. That should make you feel better. It doesn't. You probably won't survive. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is there. Now, turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's get started tonight. It's taller than it should be. You've measured it twice. Each time, the top brushed the ceiling a little higher like it was testing its reach. The corners aren't perfectly square anymore either. And the scent, well, the scent has no name. It's something between rotting pine and warm iron, and the sweet mildew you find in a cave where something used to live. The wardrobe didn't always live here. It came from the house of your great aunt, who lived alone, collected names, and never told you what she did with them. When she died, they found the wardrobe in her room door open, humming softly, faint claw marks scored on the inside. No one asked why a woman who had no pets needed claw marks in her furniture. Some things are better left unupholstered. It hums only when it wants to. And when it hums, it says names, not yours, not anyone you know. Names like Elsbeth and Juno Mare and Captain Lent. You've started writing them down in a notebook you keep under your bed. You thought maybe you were making progress until it said a name that wasn't a name at all. Just a sound, a throat click, and a low moan. The wardrobe is silent now, but you can feel it listening. At night, you try not to look at it, but sometimes your gaze slips just a twitch of the eye, and it's enough. You see the wood shift slightly, like something inside leaned closer to the keyhole. Sometimes you think it's breathing. Sometimes it waits to breathe until you're just drifting off, and then it exhales with a deep sighing groan that shakes your ribcage. It's probably just the wood settling, probably. Though some researchers still argue whether prehistoric furniture, yes, that was a thing, may have been treated with organics from human remains. Not in Europe, of course, but in certain Neolithic rituals in Anatolia, archaeologists found traces of bone ash used to preserve grain chests. Makes you think twice before storing winter sweaters in there. You've tried explaining all this to friends? They don't visit anymore. One of them tried to record the hum in the phone, just played back silence except once when it said his mother's name. Twice, with a question mark at the end. A joke, maybe. The wardrobe has a sense of humor. Once it whispered oops after you stubbed your toe. You almost laughed. That was the same night it changed the position of its handles. You noticed in the morning. You tried not to. It isn't evil exactly, just interested. Too interested. Sometimes it hums only when you're almost asleep and the hum sinks to your heartbeat. That's the worst part. Not that it makes noise, but that it matches you, like it's studying your rhythms or memorizing them. You keep dreaming of a key you've never seen. A brass one. A prehistoric one you think it has spirals that look like fingerprints and the open-work design of the Vinci symbols. You saw a replica once in a museum. It was labeled Unknown Purpose Serbia. You didn't stay long in that wing. The wardrobe wasn't humming last week. It was mimicking. That's when you knew something had changed. You heard your own voice from inside it. Not a phrase you'd ever said aloud, but something you'd thought. An intrusive thought. One you never wanted echoed. That night the wardrobe wasn't breathing. You were. It waited, and then it replied. You want to leave it behind, sell it, donate it. But you're afraid. Not of it staying, but of what it would do to someone else. It has rules, maybe. Boundaries? Or maybe it's just polite in your house. You've noticed the humming has become more precise lately. Louder sometimes, almost confident. The names are clearer, Sometimes they're sung. You heard a tune last night? It sounded like a lullaby. The melody was vaguely Babylonian, if lullabies from 3000 BC can be called lullabies at all. A Sumerian tablet, once translated, included lyrics to a sleep song that scholars still debate. It mentions shadows that count eyelashes and bones that remember their shape. Folklorists have linked it to protective spirits or warnings, depending on who translates the verbs. You don't know why the wardrobe sings or who it sings to, but you do know this: it's waiting for someone. It's not you, not yet, but it knows your heartbeat, and every night it's getting closer to calling you by name. You try to smile at your reflection in the glass pane of its door. The reflection doesn't always smile back. Just a glitch, right? Just a joke. You wish the wardrobe would laugh. It hasn't yet, but the humming is learning tone, and the door has started to twitch. The humming stops sometimes just long enough for you to forget it ever started. Then when silence settles too thickly in the room, you hear it again. Not just sound, but presence. A pressure. Like your name is being rehearsed in the next room over syllable by syllable until it fits perfectly in someone else's mouth. Tonight it's quiet again. But you're not comforted. You've learned the pattern by now. The wardrobe is always quiet before it offers you something. The first time it was a folded handkerchief on the floor. Soft embroidered initials you didn't recognize. It smelled like cedar and dust and a grandmother who never belonged to you. The second time, a single button bone carved with a fish and a crooked smile. It rolled out from beneath the wardrobe's frame while you were brushing your teeth. Rolled uphill. You didn't touch it. Now you've started finding things in your pockets. Small things. Things you didn't put there. A scrap of yellow paper with the phrase, "I miss when names were harder to earn." A sliver of quartz with something scratched in it, an X or a door or both. Once a pine needle so old it crumbled into dust when you blinked at it too hard. You laugh sometimes. Not because it's funny, but because the alternative is worse. Laughter keeps you from thinking about how the wardrobe hums only when you're near. Or how your neighbors now avoid eye contact when you carry your groceries in. Or how the cat won't come into the room anymore. The cat's smart. It sat in front of the wardrobe, once stared for 6 full minutes, and then hissed with a noise so low it rattled your dishes. That night the wardrobe stopped humming and clicked. Just once. Like it had been offended. You don't blame it. Cats are famously rude. The wardrobe has begun to change, and not in ways that make sense. The wood grain isn't consistent anymore. Patterns twist when you aren't looking. Sometimes you swear you see a face in the knots. One time it winked. You blinked back, but it was gone. This morning there were fingerprints on the inside of the glass. Not yours. Too long. Too narrow. Too deliberate. You cleaned them off. They came back by noon. They came. Some researchers believe that certain objects from the past are emotionally sticky. Not haunted necessarily, just soaked in experience. There's a Neolithic shrine in modern-day Turkey where people would bury family bones under the house, and the walls themselves were rebuilt layer by layer, remembering grief like sediment. Some even claim you can still feel the sorrow in the stone if you press your ear to it. You haven't tried pressing your ear to the wardrobe. Yet, you have, however, started dreaming of strangers. You wake up with names on your tongue that make your teeth ache. Last week, you whispered Morella in your sleep. You don't know a Morella. You checked your contact list just in case. Empty. No Morellas. But the wardrobe hummed the same syllables the next night, slower, with a little laugh at the end. Sometimes it doesn't hum names. Sometimes it hums words you never wanted spoken aloud. Last Tuesday, it hummed your password. 3 nights ago, your childhood nickname. The one you made people stop using because it reminded you of when your voice was too small to say no. And once, just once, it hummed your grandmother's lullaby. The one she never recorded. The one you haven't heard since the funeral. You said thank you that night. The wardrobe creaked. You think it might have bowed. It's not all bad. In a way, it's comforting. Like a ghost that remembers birthdays. It hasn't hurt you, not really. And in folklore, that counts for something. In Icelandic legend, there are spirits called Fjallkonur mountain women who hum beneath the moss and offer gifts to travelers who remember old songs. If the song is wrong, the gift rots in your hands. But if you sing it just right, the moss opens like a door. You wonder what the wardrobe would open to, and whether you'd walk through. But here's the strange thing. The house has started changing too. Walls lean subtly toward the wardrobe now. Light pools in front of it, even when the bulb hangs in another corner. Your bedroom door doesn't latch properly anymore. Always slightly ajar, always facing the wardrobe. Even when you know you closed it. And last night, the hallway seemed longer. You counted your steps. It took 4 more to reach the bathroom. Your phone battery drained just while standing in front of the wardrobe, even though it was at 83%. It's almost like the wardrobe is centering something, warping reality around itself. Or maybe it's just old wood and insomnia. You tried moving it once, just a little, just to see. You couldn't. It isn't heavy, but it didn't budge. Not an inch, like it was rooted through the floor. Or like something inside reached down and held on. You told yourself maybe it was just warped floorboards. It's an old house. They shift, creak, settle, like bones in the night. Still, you haven't tried again. And tonight the wardrobe is humming in a new pitch. Lower, slower. Like it's not singing to you anymore. Like it's calling someone else. You almost want to ask who. But then again, you don't really want to hear your name in reply. The humming stops for 3 nights. Complete silence. It's worse than the noise. You check the wardrobe constantly because you want it to hum again. And that's what unsettles you most. It had become a rhythm, a part of the house's nighttime music. The radiator clicks, the pipes moan, and beneath it all the wardrobe used to hum. But now nothing. On the second night, you press your ear to the door. Just for a second, just to be sure. There is a sound, not a hum. Breathing, not yours. You pull away quickly. The surface is cold, but not the cold of air. The cold of waiting. That night you sleep with the door open, not the wardrobe's, but your bedroom door. You need space escape routes. Your dreams are simple at first, then strange. You dream of water pooling inside the wardrobe and fish with folded paper wings swimming in circles. One of them opens its mouth and says, "You shouldn't have stopped singing." You wake with salt in your mouth. You don't know why. When the hum finally returns, it's different. Fragmented, as if the wardrobe is clearing its throat. You count the syllables and realize they match the cadence of your father's full name, the one nobody uses anymore. The one engraved on that award plaque in the attic. The one you were never supposed to touch. And this time, the wardrobe adds something new, tapping. Soft, regular inside the door. Like fingers waiting for a cue. There's a theory in ancient Chinese burial practices that wooden chambers sealed for the dead could trap voices, last breaths, last gasps, last regrets. Tombs with wooden gates sometimes echo when tapped despite being empty. Scholars debate whether this is acoustics or something else. Some argue the wood remembers, that it can hold sound like a sponge, slowly releasing it in strange atmospheric conditions, like grief weather. You wonder what the wardrobe has soaked in, what the air here provides. You begin noticing that the humming happens not just at night, but when you're feeling something strongly. Irritation, regret, even joy. The wardrobe mirrors it. You laugh at a dumb meme and it croons 3 syllables back at you in harmony. You cry just a little, just at your desk after a rough call, and the wardrobe sighs so softly you almost miss it. It's listening, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's learning you. The joke here is that you've started scheduling your day around it. You avoid being in the room when you feel too much. You hum back sometimes to test it. Once you whistled and the wardrobe responded with a high note that cracked the window pane. You covered the glass the next day, just in case. You try recording it again. This time the phone picks up a very low hum ultrasound maybe. Beneath the threshold of human hearing. But it's there. A living frequency. When you play it back, your dog who hasn't set foot in the hallway for weeks yelps and hides under the bed. She won't come out for 2 hours. You delete the recording. You don't remember why. At the library, you dig up a local history article. The house was built in 1897. Before that, there was a school here. Before that, a church. Before that, a burial ground. You laugh because of course there was. Some colonial layering of purpose and bones. They always build over bones. It's efficient and deeply inconvenient for anyone with sensitive furniture. But the article says something else. A woman who once lived in the house at Amero filed 8 police reports in the 1930s, claiming her husband kept vanishing into the wardrobe for minutes at a time, coming back confused shirt soaked in river water. You look again at the wardrobe's feet. There are watermarks on the wood. You haven't spilled anything. Yet. That night you dream of a room beneath the wardrobe, a staircase spiraling down through soil, past teeth, past eyes, past the lost names of your family. At the bottom is a second wardrobe, smaller, humming a lullaby in your voice. You wake up with soil in your fingernails. You haven't been outside in 3 days. Another joke. You keep the wardrobe. You could move, sell it, burn it. But something in you wants to see how far this goes. You've always had that problem. Curiosity dressed up as courage. Or maybe the other way around. Tonight the humming stops mid-note, just cuts off. You stare at the door for a long time. Then the knocking begins. Soft, inside. 3 taps, then silence. 3 taps again, as if waiting for an answer. You almost knock back. Almost. But the house is too quiet now. The fan's whir feels sharp. The shadows aren't moving, but they're poised, watching, holding their breath. And behind the door of the wardrobe, something breathes in sync with you. A second late, just behind. You go to bed and leave the lamp on. The knocking doesn't follow you, but the air in the hallway gets colder, as if something has moved closer to the keyhole. As if it can almost see you. Some researchers still debate whether keyholes in older wardrobes were designed with symbolic function as openings for spirits to enter or exit the space. Some even argue the shape of the classic skeleton key was designed to resemble the human eye so that the door could see both sides. You wonder if the wardrobe is watching. You wonder if it's waiting for someone else to look through first. And you begin to dread the day when it stops humming forever, because that might mean it's already opened. And the name it hums next won't be a warning, it will be a welcome. The taps continue for 3 nights, then 4. Always the same 3 gentle knocks, a pause, then silence. You don't answer. You don't speak. You don't move when it starts. But by now, the wardrobe doesn't need a response. It has one already. The tapping has shifted. Sometimes you wake and it's coming from the opposite side of the room. And that would be impossible. You don't own a second wardrobe. Yet, you laugh when you think that. It's not a real laugh. It's the kind of sound you make when you realize the fire alarm works fine, but you smell smoke anyway. You've stopped recording things. The last one turned itself off mid-hum. The footage corrupted. When you pressed play, the video showed a single frame, your own face in bed asleep. You live alone. The wardrobe door is still closed technically. You check it every morning, it's never open. But now the handle is warm when you touch it. Only briefly, as if someone let go just before you arrived. Inside, it's always dark. You've shown a flashlight into it before. The beam goes in but doesn't come out. It's like the light itself decides not to explore too far. You've never stepped into it, not fully, not even half. But once you leaned forward, and you heard something whisper in your own voice. Almost. The wardrobe is no longer alone. That's the worst part. There's another one now. A second humming. It's fainter. Further away. From below or behind the wall or from the back of your mind, you can't tell. But it has begun to echo the first. Like a duet being practiced. Like two halves of a mouth forming something too wide to belong to a single face. And the objects, those little gifts are changing too. Less quaint, more personal. You found a coin this morning, not currency, but a rough circle of old brass with your birthday etched into it in a language you don't recognize. It clinked as you dropped it, but when it hit the floor, it made no sound. It didn't roll, it waited. There's a drawer under the wardrobe. You've opened it before. Empty. Always empty. Until now. Today there's a bundle of twine inside. Coiled into a shape that mimics your handwriting. You pull it apart slowly and there's a folded piece of paper tucked within. It reads, "You will recognize the others by the way they hum." You burn it. Or you try. It doesn't catch fire. Just wilts, like it's made of something older than paper. There's an archaeological site in Denmark where a peat bog preserved an entire robe for over 2,000 years, woven from nettle fibers dyed with crushed beetles and iron. Some scholars believe it wasn't meant to be worn by the living, that it was buried as a vessel, a wardrobe for voices. They say the robe hums when the wind is right. They also say that the body buried in it had no tongue. The tapping changes on the fifth night. It's no longer just knocks, it's a rhythm. A pattern, like it's spelling something. Morse code. You try translating it. Doesn't match English, but it does match the tempo of your heartbeat. You test it with a metronome. Perfect match. You throw the metronome across the room. The wardrobe hums in amusement. You almost say something aloud. You almost say, "What do you want?" But you don't. You already know. It wants to be opened. It wants to be known. It wants to be used. But not by you. No, not quite, not yet. You're still becoming whatever it needs. That's the part that hurts the most, the realization that it's not hunting you. It's training you, preparing you to hum back. There's a day this week where you forget what time it is. You walk into the hallway and your watch is spinning. Literally. The hands moving in slow circles like they're waiting for someone to finish a song. You look up. The wardrobe door is slightly ajar. Just a crack. You approach slowly, not breathing. You close it gently, your fingers trembling. It resists for a second. Like something inside doesn't want to be hidden anymore. When it finally shuts, the whole house exhales. Your phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. Do you hear them yet? No reply option. You unplug the router. Doesn't matter. The next day, the same message appears on your mirror, drawn in condensation. You haven't showered in 2 days. The joke here is that it's not even trying to scare you anymore. It's welcoming you into the rhythm, into the humming. You hear it now not just at night, but in your own voice when you speak too quickly. In the clink of dishes. In the wind against the glass. Everything is starting to harmonize. The house is learning the pitch. The walls are taking up the tune. You get an idea. One last test. You press your hand to the wardrobe door and hum. Your note. The wardrobe vibrates. Then, terrifyingly, it responds. Not by sound, but by whispering your full name inside your skull. Like a thought that didn't come from you, like a song you didn't remember you wrote. It's getting closer now. Not just the wardrobe, the others. You've heard them. From the apartment below, from the alley, from the vent in your bathroom. They hum too. They've been waiting for your pitch, and soon you will match. The final shift comes quietly. You don't notice it at first, not until the humming moves with you. It's not coming from the wardrobe anymore. It's coming from your coat as you walk to the store. From the spoon against your teeth. From your own breath when you forget to think before speaking. You don't remember when the wardrobe became less central. It's still there, still tall, still impossible to move. But it's not the source anymore. It's a doorway maybe, or a beginning. But the humming has spread. You hear it faintly in the footsteps of strangers passing you by. One of them turns just briefly and you both pause. There's a flicker of recognition. The same note caught in both throats. She nods barely and moves on. You never see her again. But later that night, the wardrobe hums a tone you've never heard before. It's almost happy. The gifts have stopped. No more buttons, no more fish-carved coins, no more paper scrolls or splinters shaped like glyphs. Now the gifts are moments. A pause in time as your shadow moves without you. A phrase whispered in your mother's voice, though she's been gone 10 years now. The smell of river mud in your hallway. The wardrobe hasn't opened, but it also hasn't stayed shut. There's no other way to explain it. You've never caught it ajar again, but small things change. The mirror, once facing your bed now, reflects a hallway you don't have. Your lamp flickers in time with the tapping. Your dreams are no longer yours. They belong to a choir of watchers, and they hum. The scholars were wrong, of course. They always are eventually. The humming isn't random. It's a language, but not in syllables. It speaks in resonance, in vibration. Like the way elephants feel storms through their bones, or how ancient hunters followed echoes to find prey hiding in tall grass. You're being tracked by the sound of your own soul. You wonder if this is how it began for your great-aunt. If she kept the wardrobe long enough to learn its true voice, or if she carved her nails into the inside trying to hold back the things that knew her name before she did. You find something today. A scrap of paper under your pillow. You didn't put it there. It says, the last name is yours. It isn't signed. You consider destroying the wardrobe. You really do. But here's the joke. The bitter, rattling joke. You're not sure that would stop it. And you're not sure you want it to. Because the humming has become part of you. You hear it now in the bones of trees, in the soft churn of washing machines, in distant music you've never played. It's not just a sound, it's a map of something coming closer. You dream of the key again. Brass prehistoric humming in your palm. But this time you know the key isn't for the wardrobe. It's for you. You wake up humming, and this time it harmonizes back. The light in the hallway has dimmed permanently, as if the house has adopted dusk as its native hour. You no longer need to turn the fan on for white noise. The walls do it for you, whispering ever so gently in rhythm with your pulse. The second wardrobe, yes, that's what you call it now. Even if it's just a corner of your bedroom that warps light, has begun to reflect you twice. One reflection breathes slower than you do. But it's learning, matching. The voices that hum your name have begun to do so, not with threat, but affection. As if they've always known you. As if you've finally earned your hum. And that's when it happens. The wardrobe clicks. Not like before, not a protest, not an offense. A welcome. You don't open it. You don't have to. Because this time it opens for you. And inside, there's only sound. And shadow, and a song that carries your name forward into something older than language, older than fear, older than death. And you step forward, or maybe you don't. Maybe the hum simply grows loud enough that the distinction doesn't matter. And what stands in the hallway, afterward still quiet, almost human, begins to hum in your voice.